is not a static condition. It is a continuous conquest, and in order to reach not only freedom, but also strength and the perfecting of one's powers, it is necessary to follow this path of unremitting toil. This is a quote by Dr. Maria Montessori from The Absorbent Mind. True to these words, we now move on to the next session titled Bharatiyar Kalvi Murai. Mahakavi Subramanya Bharatiyar envisioned education as a force that awakens freedom, dignity, and responsibility in individuals. This session reflects on Mahakavi Bharatiyar's progressive ideas on education rooted in equality, creativity, fearlessness, and respect for nature and their relevance in today's world. Through poetry, thought, and lived philosophy, this session explores how Bharatiyar saw education not merely as the transmission of knowledge, but as a means to nurture independent thinking, compassion, and harmony within society, indeed aligning deeply with the spirit of Montessori education. Today with us, we have an eminent speaker, Mr. Niranjan Bharati, a poet, lyricist, writer, and the great-grandson of Mahakavi Subramanya Bharatiyar. He is also the son of renowned Carnatic musician Rajkumar Bharati. Though trained in engineering and management, his life's work has been deeply rooted in Tamil literature, poetry, and nature. He has published 2 poetry collections and authored interpretive works on Bharatiyar's songs and philosophy. He has written lyrics for cinema, television, independent music, classical dance, and through his online platform My Tamil Guru, teaches Tamil language and literature across the globe. With a huge round of applause, I now invite Mr. Niranjan Bharati onto the stage, and also requesting Ms. Lata Rao, Director, IMTC Koramangala, Bangalore, to present a memento to Mr. Niranjan Bharati. Sir, I request you to kindly take the seat on the dais. I now invite Ms. Medini onto the stage.
சின்னஞ்சிறு கிளியே கண்ணம்மா செல்வ களஞ்சியமே சின்னஞ்சிறு கிளியே கண்ணம்மா செல்வ களஞ்சியமே என்னை கலி தீர்த்தே உலகில் என்னை கலி தீர்த்தே உலகில் ஏற்றம் புரிய வந்தாய் சின்னஞ்சிறு கிளியே கண்ணம்மா செல்வ களஞ்சியமே பிள்ளைக்கனி அமுதே பிள்ளைக்கனி அமுதே கண்ணம்மா பேசும் பொச்சித்திரமே பிள்ளைக்கனி அமுதே கண்ணம்மா பேசும் பொற்சித்திரமே அள்ளியனை திடவே என் முன்னே ஆடி வரும் தேனே சின்னஞ்சிறு கிளியே கண்ணம்மா செல்வ களஞ்சியமே ஓடி வருகையிலே கண்ணம்மா உள்ளம் குளிருதடி ஓடி வருகையிலே கண்ணம்மா உள்ளம் குளிருதடி ஆடி திரிதல் கண்டால் உன்னை போய் ஆவி தழுவுதடி ஆடி திரிதல் கண்டால் உன்னை போய் ஆவி தழுவுதடி உச்சிதன்னை முகந்தால் கருவம் மோகி வளருதடி உச்சிதன்னை முகந்தால் கருவம் மோகி வளருதடி மெச்சி உன்னை ஊரார் புகழ்ந்தார் மேனி சிலிர்க்குதடி மெச்சி உன்னை ஊரார் புகழ்ந்தார் மேனி சிலிர்க்குதடி கன்னத்தில் முத்தமிட்டால் கன்னத்தில் முத்தமிட்டால் உள்ளந்தான் கல்வெறி கொள்ளுதடி கன்னத்தில் முத்தமிட்டால் உள்ளந்தான் கல்வெறி கொள்ளுதடி உன்னை தழுவிடிலோ கண்ணம்மா உன்மத்தமாகுதடி உன்னை தழுவிடிலோ கண்ணம்மா உன்மத்தமாகுதடி உன் கண்ணில் நீர் விழுந்தால் என் நெஞ்சில் ஊதிரம் கொட்டுதடி உன் கண்ணில் நீர் விழுந்தால் என் நெஞ்சில் ஊதிரம் கொட்டுதடி என் கண்ணீர் பாவையென்றோ கண்ணம்மா என் கண்ணீர் பாவையென்றோ கண்ணம்மா என் உயிர் நின்னதென்றோ என் உயிர் நின்னதென்றோ என் உயிர் நின்னதென்றோ.
Thank you so much, Miss Maitri, for the lovely rendition of Chinnanjiri Kiliye by Mahakavi Subramanya Bharatiyar. It really melted our hearts. Thank you so much. With a huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Niranjan Bharati. Sir, the stage is yours.
Vanakkam and good morning to all of you present here. First of all, I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to IMC for making me a part of this wonderful conference titled Aikyam Maitri. To say it in Tamil, ஐக்கியத்தில் என்னை ஐக்கியப்படுத்தியதற்கு நன்றி மேம். So I have been giving orations in many educational institutions about the literary supremacy of Bharatiyar, his contribution towards Tamil literature, towards Tamil language, towards this country, his woman empowerment thoughts, etc., etc. But this is an altogether unique and an important platform, because all of us know that Bharatiyar is a national poet. He was a freedom fighter. He was an eminent firebrand journalist as well as a social reformer. But many people don't know that Bharatiyar had placed the education system or rather the importance of education on such a high pedestal. And he has written many articles emphasizing the importance of education, mainly in schools. So, this opportunity is not just another opportunity for me. This speech is going to be about Bharatiyar's ideas on the importance of education, which is being taught in schools. And it gives me an opportunity to showcase his ideas, because not many people know about this aspect or this facet of Bharatiyar. So thank you so much, ma'am, once again. The topic says, as you have already known, Bharati Kanda Kalvi Murai. Bharati envisioned a new education system in India. He wanted it to be completely resurrected, because he was the one who was affected by that education system. You all know his history. He was born in Ettayapuram, a small village in Thoothukudi district. Earlier it was in Tirunelveli district. And he was having fun in his Ettayapuram. Mostly he won't go to school. But he was a good student. But his father wanted him to become a district collector. He wanted his son to go abroad and study and come back and get a government job. In those days, I'm talking about 100 years ago, getting a government job is like almost getting an Oscar nowadays. Such was the mentality of people. So he wanted his son to go and study in a English medium school in Tirunelveli. It is still there. And Bharatiyar Paditta Vaguppara, you can go and visit there. So he had no choice. Nowadays, children have choices. They have the freedom to say no. They have the freedom to deny or reject. In those days, even if you don't like it, you have to obey. So Bharatiyar had no choice. His original name was Subbaya, and his father was very, very strict, and he wanted his son, enough of fun, go to Nellai and learn English. So he hated to study English. Even though his English is impeccable, he loved the works of English poet Shelley. One of his pen names is also Shelley Dasan. That is another aspect. He didn't hate any language, but he loved his mother language. There is a difference. Like spreading hatred towards any language is wrong according to him, but at the same time, not loving your own mother language is a crime. Okay, that is a different topic to discuss on some other day. So Bharatiyar had to go to Tirunelveli and study in a vernacular medium, an English medium school. And he writes this with so much of angst and pain in his autobiography. Nellayur sendru avvoonar kalaithiran nerumaru endai panithanan. I had to obey my father. Avvoonar. He hated that education system. Why did he hate that education system? Because the British in those days utilized this education system as a weapon, or rather as a tool, to brainwash the Indian children, to paint and taint their innocent minds. The education system was such that we Indians, we developed a disrespect, or rather hatred towards our own culture, our own language, literature, or rather our own beliefs, our own spiritual practices, our own philosophies, our own religions. So they were brainwashed in such a manner that they completely neglected their own mother tongue. They treated their own beliefs, or rather customs and practices, with disdain. Bharatiyar couldn't tolerate it. And he writes it with great anguish and with great, what can we say, that anger in his poems. Many people don't know that. He writes, Ganidam பன்னிரண்டு ஆண்டு பயில்வர் கார்கொள் வானிலோர் மீன்நிலை தேர்ந்திலார். He says, he criticizes the education system openly. You guys learn mathematics for 12 years, but you are a zero in astronomy. You are a zero in astronomy. Because he loved astronomy, he loved science. When he was in Puducherry for 10 years, he had 2 wonderful daughters, Tangammal, Shakuntala. So I am the great grandson of Tangammal. And he took his children to an exhibition, to a science exhibition in those days, because there was a new telescope being displayed in that exhibition. So he wanted his children to know about that telescope. He loved science. And he says in his Atichudi, Vana Nool Payirchikol, learn astronomy. Because once upon a time, when we were a rich civilization, we were producing stalwarts in astronomy. We were making great discoveries. But after the British came, or rather after lots and lots of invasions, we lost that. So he wanted to revive it. He says, what is the use of studying mathematics if you are not able to apply, for example, trigonometry or differential calculus in order to study the sky? He wanted our education system to give importance to science and technology, especially space science. He said, Vana yalappom, kadal meena yalappom, Chandiram mandalathu iyal kandu thelivom. He wanted us to travel to the moon, and we did that today. And his prophecy came true. Such was his genius, such was his visionary thought. Kadal meena yalappom doesn't mean diving into the sea and counting the fish. So he kind of poetically says, when you look at the sky, it's like a hanging sea. And meen means nakshatra, star in Tamil. So we need to, it doesn't mean literally count the stars. It means to analyze them, to study about them, to do research about them and discover new things. Recently, our Indian scientists, they rediscovered a very, very, very ancient galaxy known as Alaknanda using a NASA telescope. He would have been proud, Bharatiyar would have been proud if he had been alive today. Okay. So coming back to his education system, he says, Ganidam பன்னிரண்டு ஆண்டு பயில்வர் கார்கொள் வானிலோர் மீன்நிலை தேர்ந்திலார். And next he says, அணிசை காவியம் ஆயிரம் கற்கினும் ஆழ்ந்திருக்கும் கவியுளம் காண்கிலார். He says you read thousands and thousands of literature, be it in any language, but you are learning it like a machine. You are not able to appreciate the poetic nuances or the essence of it. You just by heart it. You don't have any creativity. That's how our education system is even now. We are producing machines. Very rarely we find innovative students who start their own companies in the future. Of course, there are such people, but it is only a small percentage, majority of them, they are trained like machines because that is what the British wanted. They wanted Indians to be subservient to them. They wanted us Indians to be below par. Only then they can rule us. So that was the motive of those dictators. And Bharatiyar could sense it, and he didn't want the future generation to fall prey to that idea. He wanted each and everyone to be creative and unique. And that's why he says, learn any language, learn all the literature, but try to grasp the essence of it. Read the mind of the poet. It means that be creative as well. But it is a big question mark nowadays whether the education system in our country today, they try to nurture the creative wings of each and every student, or they chop it off. It is a question to be asked. Okay. Now we comes to the syllabus. And he never goes soft on the education system. He comes all guns blazing. Because he wanted it to change it completely. Because in our country, today everything is changed. Today, the purpose of education is employment. But originally, in our holy land, the purpose of education was enlightenment and not employment. He wanted to bring back that culture to India. He says, what is your education system? What are you studying? What is this crap? What is this syllabus? He criticized. He says, Kamban endoru maanidan வாழ்ந்ததும் காளிதாசன் கவிதை புனைந்ததும் உம்பர் வானத்து கோளையும் மீனையும் ஓர்ந்தளந்ததோர் பாஸ்கரன் மாட்சியும் நம்பரும் திரளோடொரு பாணினி ஞாலம் மீதில் இலக்கணம் செய்ததும் இம்பர் வாழ்வின் இறுதி கண்டு உண்மையின் இயல்புணர்த்திய சங்கரன் ஏற்றமும். You read Shakespeare, fine, a great playwright, no second thoughts. You know about Alexander, you know about Julius Caesar, fine, accepted. They are all great men, great warriors, great scholars. You know about Confucius, you know about John Keats, you know about William Wordsworth. Agree. I respect them. But do you know Kamban? He is a Tamil poet who wrote the Ramayana in Tamil. He was the first person to do Kamba Ramayanam, one of the most appreciated kavyas in Tamil after Silappadigaram. Do you know that? No. Okay. Do you know Kalidas? He was such a blessing for this country. He says, Kalidasan is Arya Sambat. Arya doesn't mean any race here. Arya means noble, great. Sambat is like a treasure. Kalidasan is one of India's treasures, he said. Kalidasan kavidai punaindadum. You know about Shakespeare. He's from England. But do you know Kalidas? He's from your own country. The British used to teach our children that your Kalidasan is nothing. Your Thiruvalluvar is nothing. They are all inferior to our poets. They are all inferior to our scholars. Your kings and warriors are all below par when compared to our own warriors. When the European nations were trying to build a civilization, we were ruling this world. We were number one in all the departments. And he couldn't accept it because he learnt history as well. And being number one in all the departments you name, number one in metallurgy, number one in astronomy, number one in textiles, number one in philosophy, and everything collapsed. He couldn't accept it. And he wanted to inculcate this spirit, first of all, in all the schools. He says, you don't know Kamban, you don't know Kalidasan. Do you ever know that there was a mathematician in India known as Bhaskara? How many of us know? Many people don't know Aryabhatta, many people don't know Bhaskara. Of course, some people may know their names, but we never know what was their contribution to mathematics. How many of us know about the great mathematical genius who was from this Tamil land, Ramanujam? He says, you don't know about Bhaskaran. You don't know about Panini. Panini was the Sanskrit poet who wrote the grammar book for Sanskrit. And Tolgapiyar was his Tamil contemporary. How many of us know? We don't know. Do you know about Adi Shankara? One of the greatest philosophical saints produced from South India. Advaitam was such a huge revelation in the philosophical world in those days. See, he has covered all the departments in this stanza, and he has still not finished. He says about Kamban, he says about Kalidasan, he says about Bhaskara, he says about Panini and Shankara. See, mathematics has come, language has come, philosophy has come. And still he continues. Seran thambi silambai isaithadum, Deiva Valluvar Vanmarai seidadum, Para Nallisai Sola Pandiyar, Paralithu Dharumam Valarthadum, Perarut Sudar Valkonda Asoganar, Pidaipadadu Puvithalam Kathadum. And then he ends it by praising Chhatrapati Shivaji. You don't know about Ilangovadigal, who wrote the Silappadigaram, the anklet Kavya. You don't know about Thiruvalluvar. You never know about your own warriors, your own kings. How many of us know about Arulmozhivarman alias Rajaraja Cholan? What were his contributions and his achievements? We don't know. We never know in such a, what can we say, in a huge scale about our Sera, Sola, Pandya kings. We never know. How many of us know about Ashoka? Now, of course, things might have changed. Our syllabus has been updated. That's a very heartening thing to hear. But in those days, Bharatiyar was furious. You don't know about Ashoka, you don't know about Vikramaditya, you don't know about Rajendra Chola or Rajaraja Chola. What kind of an education system is this? Anna Yavum Arindilar, Bharathathu Angila Kalvi, Angila Palliyul Pogunar. So in all those English medium schools, the British were brainwashing the children. Those innocent minds were poisoned to turn them against their own motherland. And he could sense it. He was affected by it. The only good thing that happened to Bharati because of this education system was he learnt English. And of course, he had huge respect for Shelley. In Ettaipuram, he had a small organization called as Shelley's Guild. That is different. That is different. But how the British were manipulating us, he couldn't tolerate it. And previously, Saranya Jayakumar ma'am spoke beautifully with so much depth about the children's rights. And I can proudly say, of course, I am also a parent. I have a daughter who is just 4.5 years old. And as Madam was speaking, I was continuously checking upon myself, introspecting whether I am following the norms or not. And till date, of course, very limited is a screen space. And till now, I haven't showed her any shots. I haven't showed her any reels. I haven't allowed my daughter to play video games. Of course, I need to update myself on many fronts. I need to learn a lot, correct some mistakes here and there, but still, it was so alarming. And Madam was talking about isolation, bullying, Ben Franklin effect. Surprisingly, when Madam was talking about, I was thinking about another evergreen Bharatiyar song, all of us know. Madam was talking about isolation, bullying, how to say no, etc., etc. Unknowingly, or rather knowingly, Bharatiyar has touched upon these points 100 years ago. We all know an evergreen song, very, very simple song. As I already said, Bharatiyar had 2 daughters. His second daughter was named Shakuntala because when she was born, he was reading Shakuntalam, written by Kalidasa. So, when his second daughter was born, he named her Shakuntala. And he fondly used to call her Papa. One day, Papa was like playing. She was a naughty child, a very intelligent child also. She didn't listen to her mom, Chellamma. And he said, Thai sonna sollai tattada Papa. He just said casually. Then immediately the child caught hold of her father. You write so many songs, no? Huh? You write songs for the nation, you say. You write songs for the society, you write songs for women. Write one song for me. Write one song for me, especially for me. What should I do, what should I do, what I should not do. Ipa solronla do's and don'ts. The child demanded to her father, Appa, you write so many songs. Write one song for me, please. Then he thought, why can't I write? This is a good idea. That's how Papa Patu was born. We all know that Odi Vilayadu Papa. Oindirikkalagadu Papa. That Papa is this Papa only. But now it has become an anthem for children. It can be applied to any Papa all over the world. He wrote it for his own child. But each and every child in this planet can relate to it. In such simple words, he easily educated about very big concepts and deep philosophies. Another important or rather interesting tidbit associated with this song is, everybody can just comment upon like this. What is there? What is the need to elaborate on this? Sangodi Vilayadu Papa, Oindirikkalagadu Papa. Do we need any commentaries on this? Why he wrote this song? Because in those days, now of course everything has changed for our good. In those days, women were treated as slaves, or rather prisoners in their own homes. Very few women got the opportunity to study. Most of them were bound to their homes. They were not allowed to step out of their homes. They were like inmates in a sophisticated prison. Bharatiyar wanted to break it as well, because that was the pathetic condition of women in those days, and even a woman child was not spared. In our culture, Papa generally means a girl child. In those days, there were lots of restrictions even for a small kid, a small girl child. Don't go and play there. Don't go and meet your friends there. Don't do this. Don't do that. So he wanted to break that shackle as well. That's why he says, Odi vilayadu papa, go out and play as per your will. Why should a child be denied that freedom? So that is a small revolution by itself. And of course, we all know, Madam was also talking about our psychologist, Sharanya ma'am. Odi vilayadu papa. Playing today has become playing video games or rather online games in mobile or laptops or in tab. Odi vilayadu. Next line he says, Nee oindirukkal agadu. We can't stand a child sitting idle. Even I can't bear my child sitting idle because she always does something new. She always has that keen sense of interest to go after something new, to learn something new, to do some tricks, to do some pranks. We can't see a child sitting idle or feeling sick. I have cried many times seeing my daughter like that. He says, Nee oindirukkal agadu papa. It is the nature of every child to play, to experiment. Our great Abdul Kalam said, the first scientist in this world is a child. Because the child never fails to learn something new, to update. So, we all know this. But now, we have lots and lots of events, very alarming and disturbing events happening around us with regards to child care and child welfare. Because she was saying about bullying, and it has gone to such an extreme level that a very small child very daringly takes the extreme step of finishing or rather committing suicide nowadays. It has become very normal. And applying or rather shedding this light on Bharatiyar's lyrics, it gives a completely new perspective. Odi vilayadu papa, nee oindirukkal agadu papa. Go and play. Don't sit idle. We all understand. And next, he takes that song to a different level. Koodi vilayadu papa. Don't play alone. And next line, he hits a 6. Oru kuzhandayai vayyade papa. Don't bully or don't scold a child. Play together. He has written this song 100 years ago. It is still valid. It is still relevant. And reading these stories, it plays those lines gave me an altogether different perspective. Now we talk about inclusivity. He says that in this song. And now we say, there are lots and lots of discussions about what is the average screen time for every child. Madam said 1 hour or rather half an hour. There is an even more better alternative for children. Rather than thinking about how much time should we allocate for every children to watch the mobile phone or watch the tablet. We have a great medicine. In fact, it is a free medicine which has no expiry date. It is called Mother Nature. How many of us do that? Bharatiyar inculcates this thought in Odi Vilayadu Papa. I will come to his education system syllabus quickly. He says in the next stanza, Chinnanjiru kuruvi pole, நீ திரிந்து பறந்து வா பாப்பா. வண்ண பறவைகளை கண்டு நீ மனதில் மகிழ்ச்சி கொள்ளு பாப்பா. If you see a sunrise, if you see a river, if you see a leaf, if you see a small insect, if you see a sparrow, you can feel happy. It is not just time pass. Nature is not just for photography or videography. You are a part of it. You are nature, actually. But we don't accept it, or rather we don't like it, because we have our own heavy egos. I have tried to inculcate this in my child. Every time I see a squirrel or a crow or even a lizard or even a cockroach or even a sparrow, a pigeon, I used to tell her, இது pigeon, இதுக்கு தமிழ்ல என்ன தெரியுமா? புறா. And one more important thing Bharatiyar advised, he has written an article where he talks about what should be the curriculum for schools. And there he says everything, every subject apart from English should be taught in your mother tongue. Thaimozhi Kalvi. So what I do is, whenever I introduce a new creature to my daughter, I say what is it in English and what is it for Tamil also. Kaka, Kuruvi, she knows. Manna paravaigalai kandu nee manadil magizhchi kollu papa. It is a wonderful treatment for the child. Wonderful exposure. Seeing birds so happy. Idu maina. Allow the child to learn. Allow the child to experience nature. Once the child develops a taste in admiring nature, even if you dump the cell phone in their hands, they will throw it away. It is true. Expose them to nature. It is a medicine, it is a treatment. But we never do that. Bharatiyar advises this. And he also teaches the child about inclusivity. Don't play alone. Play with your children. And you are not alone in this world. You are a part of a huge system. You are a tiny speck. Remember that. You are not the owner of this universe. You didn't create it. You have come here to stay for a while. That is the truth. Brutal truth. This world also has space for millions and millions of creatures like you. You are also a creature. Only difference is you can speak. You can laugh. He says this. சின்னஞ்சிறு குருவி போலே நீ திரிந்து பறந்து வா பாப்பா, வண்ணப் பறவைகளை கண்டு நீ மனதில் மகிழ்ச்சி கொள்ளு பாப்பா. கொத்தித் திரியும் அந்த கோழி, அதை கூட்டி விளையாடு பாப்பா. Because that was our culture. That was our lifestyle. கொத்தித் திரியும் அந்த கோழி. We used to grow cow in our backyard. We used to grow hen, cattle. We used to raise them. We used to raise pets like anything. We loved them. பகுத்துண்டு பல்லுயிர் ஓம்புதல். The great Thiruvalluvar said. பகுத்துண்டு பல்லுயிர் ஓம்புதல். Whatever you eat, share among all the creatures that depend upon you. Don't be so selfish. கொத்தித் திரியும் அந்த கோழி, அதை கூட்டி விளையாடு பாப்பா. எத்தித் திருடும் அந்த காக்காய், அதற்கு இறக்கப்பட வேணும் பாப்பா. Don't disregard them. They are your friends. So children love birds and animals. My daughter does that. Whenever she sees a cat, she stops and she admires them. She has no fear. I felt so happy because I was like that. கொத்தித் திரியும் அந்த கோழி, அதை கூட்டி விளையாடு பாப்பா. And then he says, பாலை பொழிந்து தரும் பாப்பா, அந்த பசு மிக நல்லதடி பாப்பா. வாலை குழைத்து வரும் நாய்தான், அது மனிதருக்கு தோழனடி பாப்பா. வண்டி இழுக்கும் நல்ல குதிரை, நெல் வயலில் இறங்கி உழும் மாடு. அண்டி பிழைக்கும் நம்மை ஆடு, இவை ஆதரிக்க வேணுமடி பாப்பா. So, in these 4 stanzas, he not only talks about inclusivity, he talks about the importance of environment and your connection to all the other beings in this universe, in this planet. கோழி வந்தாச்சு, ஆடு வந்தாச்சு, மாடு வந்தாச்சு, நாய் வந்தாச்சு, எல்லாமே வந்தாச்சு, பசு வந்தாச்சு. So the child will know that he or she is not alone. He or she has got many friends to play with, and that friends need not be always human beings. It is not just like go and play with hen, go and play with the cow. No, it is the concept of inclusivity and that connection. We are all cut from the same thread. Our appearances may differ. And then he says, காலை எழுந்தவுடன் படிப்பு, பின்பு கனிவு கொடுக்கும் நல்ல பாட்டு, மாலை முழுதும் விளையாட்டு என்று வழக்கப்படுத்திக் கொள்ளு பாப்பா. So you can summarize Bharatiyar's education system in 2 words. If Bharatiyar was an educationist, or if Bharatiyar ran a school, that education system would have got 2 eyes. One eye is arts, the other eye is sports. That was his vision. காலை எழுந்தவுடன் படிப்பு, பின்பு கனிவு கொடுக்கும் நல்ல பாட்டு. And then he goes on to educate the child about greater things. He also imparts about the importance of equality in the society. He also inculcates the child about bhakti in a very, very simple way, in a very, very friendly way. ஜாதிகள் இல்லையடி பாப்பா, குலத்தாழ்ச்சி உயர்ச்சி சொல்லல் பாவம், நீதி உயர்ந்தமதி கல்வி அன்பு நிறைய உடையவர்கள் மேலோர். Having so many degrees after your name doesn't mean that you are a great man. Of course, it adds some weightage on paper, but in reality, your knowledge gains importance only when you have a kind heart, when you are disciplined, when you are a man of character, and when you are impartial. பொய் சொல்லக்கூடாது பாப்பா, என்றும் புறம் சொல்லலாகாது பாப்பா. Don't talk behind everyone. தேம்பி அழும் குழந்தை நொண்டி. It is not a bad word in those days. He says, open up, தேம்பி அழும் குழந்தை நொண்டி, சோம்பல் மிகக் கெடுதி பாப்பா. தேம்பி அழும் குழந்தை நொண்டி, தெய்வம் நமக்கு துணை பாப்பா. He goes on to say many things. உயிர்களிடத்தில் அன்பு வேணும், தெய்வம் உண்மை என்று தான் அறிதல் வேண்டும். Love each and every being in this planet. Of course, the education system is associated with schools and colleges, but within each and every parent there is a teacher, and within each and every teacher there is a parent. We must understand this. It is the duty and responsibility of each and every parent to inculcate these values to a child. Education system can also be run in families, at homes. It starts there. Only when you abide by it, the child will abide by it. So now we hear very fancy terms from the West like nature therapy. Then we say, wow, we must do this, we must follow this. Our ancestors were living that way. When you read Sangam literature, we know that. So it is very sad to know that some scientists, or rather some scholars from the West have to say this, and then we have to follow it. வைரமுடைய நெஞ்சு வேணும், இது வாழும் முறைமையடி பாப்பா. Vairam is diamond. We all know diamonds for its shining quality, for that glitteriness. But diamond has a very important quality, urudi, that strength, that inner strength. That is very important for a child. And if you expose the child to Mother Nature, when she experiences nature, he or she will develop confidence within seconds. That focus, that patience, that temperament, everything will come. It is possible. As ma'am said, there are parents who raise their children amidst this chaos of lots and lots of gadgets. It is possible. And now, coming to the important part, I would like to wrap up this speech of mine by dwelling upon Bharatiyar's vision for India with regards to education. He has written an article. Many people don't know that Bharatiyar was a journalist who wrote articles on millions and millions of topics. And he developed a curriculum for school children. And he wanted India to focus on education alone. He says, இன்னரும் கனிச் சோலைகள் செய்தல், இனிய நீர்த்தண் சுனைகள் இயற்றல், அன்ன சத்திரம் 1000 வைத்தல், ஆலயம் 10,000 நாட்டல், பின்னருள்ள தருமங்கள் யாவும் பெயர் விளங்கி ஒளிர நிறுத்தல், அன்னையாவினும் புண்ணியம் கோடி ஆங்கோர் ஏழைக்கு எழுத்தறிவித்தல். It is good to create forests. It is good if you dig a lake. It is a punya. It is a great holy act, no doubt. You are constructing, Chattiram means like an inn for those who need it. Free food. But above all, what is the most sacred act? Making a poor child learn. Annayavinum punniyam kodi. And we can see that anger in him whenever he talks about education. We all know, we all celebrate Saraswati Puja with such grandeur and with great reverence. And he says, what is real Saraswati Puja? No offense to all the traditional practices. And he gives a new idea. He says, in each and every street, there should be 2 schools. And in each and every home, a child should learn any art. We have an image in our minds. Art means only poetry, dance, singing, sculpture, painting. No. Constructing a building is an art. Making a necklace is also an art. Cooking is also an art. Making a furniture is also an art. Every child should learn such an art. வீடுதோறும் கலையின் விளக்கம், வீதிதோறும் 2 பள்ளி, he says. And now his anger comes out. He is furious, he fumes. தேடு கல்வி இல்லாததோர் ஊரை தீயினுக்கு இரையாக மடுத்தல். If you find any district or village or town or city or panchayat without any school, burn it down. Burn that place to ashes, he says. Such was his vision. You can't just say it as an anger. It is love for his country. It is love for his fellow countrymen. That is how we should understand his poems. And he says, he not only created a curriculum for children, he says how to recruit the teachers, how to pay them. What are the qualities of a good teacher? And he even goes on to say how much these teachers should be paid. He says, apart from having the subject knowledge and of course patience, every teacher should love his country. Every teacher should be physically fit as well, he says this. An important criteria for recruiting teachers. Of course, this was 100 years ago. But still it holds good even today. Because in those days, schools were not just educational institutions. Schools were places where British silently bred anti-nationalism, or rather disregard for our own culture. He wanted to break it. He said, Pallikudangal Desabhaktiyayum valarka vendum. He said this. Each and every school has this responsibility to nurture that feeling of patriotism and pride of being an Indian. He lived in an era where we weren't independent. But still he sang Aduvome, Pallu Paduvome, Ananda Surindram, Adaindu Vittom endru. Such was his prophecy. And then he goes on to say what subjects should be taught in schools. I was literally stunned by his research. Many people try to understand him within a small framework, but you can't pour an ocean in a small cup of glass. Such was his knowledge. He says, what are the important subjects to be taught in school? First of all, as I already said, each and everything should be taught in your mother tongue. And then he says, you should know history. No compromise. History means, first of all, your own history. Sarithira terchikol. He has said this to children. What is Sarithira terchikol? We know Sarithira means history. Know the correct history, not the history written by Western scholars. Go and find it out for yourself. Don't be misguided. What history we should learn? What history we should learn? Your own local history first. Wherever you are, whichever part of Tamil Nadu, this applies to all the states in India, whatever he says. For example, we take Tamil Nadu. You are born in Chennai, or you are born in Tiruchi, you are born in Madurai, you are born in Tenkasi, whatever the place may be. Know about the history of your own city, your own native town. Then, know about the history of your state. Know about the history of your country. And then, know about the history of your neighboring countries. He writes this beautifully in such an organized manner. So we can't stop appreciating his clarity of thought in such an important topic. And then he says, what are the other subjects we should learn? Of course, Bhugola Sastram, he says, geography. And he says, every child should know about cosmology, Anda Sastram. There weren't Tamil names those days, so he writes Anda Sastram. And he says, with regards to science, he loved science. And another shocking fact is Bharatiyar never sent his children to school because he never wanted his children to be corrupted by that education system of the British. So now we say homeschooling. Bharatiyar did that 100 years ago. Of course, his children grew up to be great writers and poets. And he wanted his children to know about their own history. How many of us know about Vedas? How many of us know about Upanishads? Every child should know. How many of us, as I already said, each and every child must know who ruled their kingdom, not the British. This isn't the land of the British. Of course, they won, they conquered us. It is an ill fate. That is a different story. But before the British came, we had a rich culture, heritage. You must know it. Mannum imaya malayangal malaye. Manilam pol idupol piridilaye. Our Prime Minister has recited this. Pannarum upanirada nadangal nade. How many of us knew about the great philosophical giants produced by this country? How many of us know about Adi Shankara? How many of us know about Veda Vyasa? He writes, how many of us know about Ramanuja? Because he was part of an education system where all these great saints were mocked and ridiculed by the British teachers. Of course, in those days, when Adi Shankara was there or when Ramanuja was there weren't any great technological advancements. They might have had some wrong notions about the universe because of some limitations, but that doesn't mean that they don't know anything. He wanted our children to know about these great people. Every child should know the philosophers, the saints, the rulers, the artists, the poets from their own state as well as their own country. And when it comes to science, he says, we should accept one thing. The West have grown leaps and bounds in science and technology. Every day, they are discovering, or rather making new devices. We are lacking in it. So we must invest in science and technological research, he writes. And he loved astronomy, as I already said. He has written about a comet, Sadharana Varshat Dhumaketu. That is one poetry of Bharatiyar. That in itself is a revolution. Nobody has written a poetry about a comet falling down. He wrote it. And he has also talked about the speed of light in his poetry. He has also talked about the importance of sun. And he used to worship the sun every morning once he wakes up. Thiye ninnai pole emadu arivu sudar viduga. He writes in Vasana Kavidai. I want my brain to be like you, O my son. I want my mind to be glowing with you, like you. I want to be like a fire, just like you. That was his prayer. And he also wanted the children to learn chemistry, Rasayana Sastram. In those days, it was called as Rasayana Sastram. And he also wanted, of course, it is a debatable topic, but he says every child should know about Rajaniti, political science, and about commerce, economics, business, and above all, of course, we still have field trips today. And he says, take your children to a forest. And if not a forest, take your children to a village festival. They should get that flavor. They should understand that importance. Take that child to a temple, or not just to worship. Develop that sense of appreciating art in that child's mind. We don't know how to appreciate a beauty in a sculpture. Unfortunately, adults, we also don't know that. But he says, Sirpa Shastra was one of the most ancient art forms in India. We have a rich tradition, a unique tradition. Each and every child should know. Of course, temples are places of worship, whatever the places of worship may be. It is not just for worship, it is also to appreciate art. How to appreciate an art in a painting. How to appreciate art when a child sees a sculpture. How to understand it, how to decode it. A child should know. He writes this. It should be a part of curriculum, he says. And of course, he gives very much importance to sports. And he also writes what are the equipments the school should buy. Dumbbells, he writes. He writes about dumbbells. He writes about gym in those days. And of course, he says every children should also know the importance of agriculture. They eat rice, it comes directly to their plates. How did it come there? Who is the reason behind this? The child should know that process. It is not wrong to take the child to a field and show them and inculcate them and educate them. He says every child should know some act, like how to say that in English, I don't know. He says the child can be taught knitting, sewing. It is called Bharatiyar Kalvi. He says teach gardening to the child. Not just as an activity or a fun activity. It should be part of the syllabus. Expose them. So this was the education system envisioned by Bharatiyar. And of course, it is a matter of huge introspection. It is a matter of huge introspection as to where we stand now. So I want to reiterate that Bharatiyar was not just a poet, a freedom fighter, a social reformer and a journalist, and we can proudly say, in fact bravely say that he was an avid educationist as well. And this is the first time I am presenting Bharatiyar's views on education on a public forum, and thanks to IMC for having me here. And I hope this ideologies of Bharatiyar reach out to many schools, and thank you so much for having me here. It gives me immense pleasure in sharing about Bharatiyar's views on education, schools, etc., etc. And sorry, you must all be hungry, so don't be angry. So you can go and have your lunch, and thank you so much for patiently listening to my speech. Thank you so much.
உங்கள் அழகு தமிழுக்கு மிக நன்றி ஐயா. Thank you, Mr. Niranjan Bharati, for those very thought-provoking words. We are deeply honored to have you with us today, sir. You are a true inspiration to all the lives you have touched, and to have the culturally rich legacy and Tamil literature kept alive not only for this but the future generations to come. Your expertise and thoughts provided valuable perspectives that truly resonated with us. Especially the stories and connection of Mahakavi Bharatiyar with science and astronomy. It gives us goosebumps to even think about how forward Bharatiyar was, not only in education, but women's rights too. There are some songs that go on a loop in our minds when it really strikes a chord in us, and I'm sure each one of us will have Odi Vilayadu Papa on our music loop, and it's timeless. Once again, our heartfelt gratitude on behalf of Maitri Aikyam 2026 for sharing your time and knowledge with us, sir. Thank you so much. We now come to the end of the first half of today's sessions, and it's time to break for lunch. Before we disperse, a gentle reminder, we kindly request all the delegates refrain from walking on the lawns. Washrooms are located near the lobby, and accessible washrooms are located near the right corner of the auditorium. For lunch today, we request you to please present your lunch coupon at the designated counter in the lunch area. Lunch has been arranged outside the canteen, and seating is also available under the canopy area to the right side of the campus. As the lunch hall has a capacity of 90 and is being shared today with the college students as well, we request your cooperation in sharing the space mindfully. To ensure smooth movement and to avoid possible queues during lunch, we kindly encourage the delegates to take advantage of the stalls too. This campus is plastic-free and litter-free zone, and we once again encourage you to use your water bottles. We would like to remind you that no food items are allowed inside the auditorium. Please ensure that if you buy eatables sold at the stalls, kindly leave them at the stalls and collect them before you leave today. We will resume the afternoon session by 2:30 p.m. and we request everyone to be seated 5 minutes prior to the session. Thank you so much for your cooperation. Please enjoy your lunch.